Oh,
shit.
What is up?
The fuck
Bruh.
is up? Bruh.
Oh man, that timing has got to get better. Who knows?
Whoopsies.
Yeah. Who knows where we're actually at? There may be lag here. We may actually be right in unison. We don't know.
You do look like you're lagging instantly. As soon as we hit record, it looks like you're lagging.
It looks perfect on my end, but
now it looks good.
Lagging.
Now it looks good. All right, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Fuck it. Let's see.
I think it takes like a second or two for us to kind of, get going. You don't just start.
You can't
speed racing
just
right
dive
away.
Right into the shits. You gotta.
Yeah. Who do you think you are, huh? You're not Usain Bolt. You got to warm up. Speaking of that,
if you speaking of Usain Bolt, if you forgot who we are Card Attendant Confessions with Rick and Paul. We've been on a brief hiatus.
I don't know if I've even said Card Attendant Confessions in like 2 months. We kind of mentioned the name of the podcast in the last 5 episodes.
I have a confession. We have not.
Yeah, it kind of felt like that. And there has been a hiatus. Technical difficulties, man. If we get another one, we're going to take our talents elsewhere.
Yeah.
You can bet
we might as well just change
dollar.
the name of the pod to Technical Difficulties. There's
I am sure there's like 30 podcasts out there named Technical Difficulties.
Has to be.
There's probably
Technical
but we are the only Card Attendant Confessions, and you are
true.
Listening to the Card Attendant Confessions. If anybody else, we should probably buy the domain and like all of it now, because it'd probably be cheap.
We honestly should.
If some,
especially when we make it big.
Yeah, that happened to one of my buddies. He had this saying in high school, maybe even started in middle school. He had a saying. It was called. He always just said like he was due for a come up. Like this year is the come up. The come up. We always used to say it in our friend group, and so his social media handles were the come up. And there was a company called the Come Up BMX that we had no idea about, but I think at the end of high school we found out about it. It was either founded or ran by Adam 22, who's now very famous and popular. Podcast guy. Yeah, at the time he had no idea who this guy was. It was just Adam something, the owner of the Come Up BMX. And he messages my buddy on Instagram asking about the handle. And my buddy's like, well, I want like thousands of dollars for it. And I was like, dude, just take the fucking money. Like, this is nothing. It's an Instagram handle that no one cares about. And he's like, no. This is worth millions. I'm gonna have a clothing line and all this shit. It's worth millions. I'm like, all right. So he tells Adam 22 no. And then years go by. Like, we're talking years after high school. And my buddy needs the money, and he goes back to Adam 22 in the DMs, and they settle for like $800 when the original offer was like thousands. And he gives him the come up, and now if you go look at this BMX company, they have the handle the come up, and the two kind of went in different directions. So
$800.
Shout out to the come up. We should probably get a hold of Card Attendant Confessions now.
Yeah, we honestly should.
Actually,
I'm surprised nobody's
now. People are going to hear this and they're going to go buy it.
Right.
There's going to be an A's fan out there who goes and buys it. Mm-hmm.
Oh wow, yeah. They're really good at claiming trademarks before other people.
Claiming trademarks, finding old A's vehicles in buttfuck nowhere. Did you see that they found the rooted in Oakland truck that I actually used to
abandoned?
Yeah, that story's so weird to me. Like, where did they find it? spent like 4 minutes of my life today watching a news story about it, and they still didn't say like where they found it and why they couldn't buy it. I guess they
Yeah.
attempted to buy it and they were still unsuccessful.
Dude, part of me just thinks they just do all this for like publicity or whatnot. Like remember when a famous A's fan found like the note of that they handed out to A's workers about like
I
don't
never believed
mention.
that for a second.
Yeah,
I
I was like,
really
all right, it
didn't.
looks like like he just printed this up and like, oh, look what I found. Just to, and don't get me wrong, I'm not here supporting the A's at all. Fuck them. But like,
Yeah.
there's that. There's
It
wristband
smells.
gate. There's
Yeah. The controversy of what was it? The yeah, what was wristband gate again? It was
there was two
this
players that were
conspiracy.
wearing
That's the word
yeah
I'm looking
the
for.
conspiracy wearing the wristbands, and they were sent down and not getting playing time because they wore last dive bar wristbands. Guys, I'm
Come
on your side,
on.
but just stop. It's
So
embarrassing at this point.
I'll admit. So, yeah, well, did I fall for it or did I sniff it out and then they reverse course shortly after? Because then
Yeah,
they kind of said like, no, we were joking the whole time about it. It was a
didn't
joke.
sound like you
I
guys
don't
were
know.
joking.
Kind of at first they kind of made it seem like they were uncovering something, a conspiracy. But then when it seemed like an agenda that they were pushing,
Well,
because let's face it, all
did
of
you see
the
Ryan Noda just got optioned today down to
yeah,
AAA?
was he wearing
And
a wristband?
no, but about 3 days ago when they were or a few days ago when they were in Baltimore and they won at the end of the game, the camera is in the dugout and like Noda's walking through the dugout about to head down into the clubhouse, and he does this across the Oakland thing. And so like there's like showing off to the camera like, yeah, Oakland, we did it, like because they beat the Orioles or whatnot. And then like
Oh,
4 days
okay.
later he gets optioned down to AAA, and like last dive bar and other people are like, now why would they do that? Oh, maybe because he's
Ah,
hitting under 200 and can't get on base anymore.
he stinks. Maybe that's
He
why.
fucking stinks this year. I like Ryan Noda, but he fucking dinks this year.
I love that Brian Windhorse. Now, why would they do that?
Why would he do that?
Why would they do that?
Why would they do that?
That is to the T what the Last Dive Bar / A's Twitter right now is acting like.
Yeah.
Anything that happens in A's world right now is now why would they do that?
And they do
It's
the
like,
why
no,
would they do
he
that?
just
And
stinks.
they don't follow up with anything else. They just ask the question. Like, now why would you guys
don't
do
get me
that?
wrong, we are appreciative of these fan
Yes.
groups. They have done
Yes.
so much for us as A's fans, and they have gotten the word out there, and boy, it's catching like wildfire. Like there are Orioles fans and White Sox fans and Brewers fans and Diamondbacks fans and people who are anti-establishment, anti-owner, anti-public funding for stadiums. This is a thing, a growing thing. Kansas City didn't approve public money for 2 new stadiums out there.
Yeah.
So thank you to fan groups, but when it is getting a little bit almost out of hand. We got to reel it back in.
It just is. It's like, guys, just be realist right now. I appreciate everything you're doing, but like you're trying to be in the news almost too much now. You're trying to make every little thing about it. You still have our full support, but it's just the conspiracy theories are just ridiculous.
There's money to be made. I mean, their name is out there. They've got apparel. I mean, so there is new apparel that they're dropping like almost weekly, it seems.
Fast.
Like
real fast.
Like new shit. So there's money to be made. I get it. People got to feed their families and shit. And if the A's aren't going to be around for much longer, then the time to bank on this kind of publicity and money grab is shortening. So people are going to try to get the money. But I think this applies to like media too. Like just a quick point. Like there's guys like on the East Coast too for like CBS Sports Radio. There is not intentional talk. What's Foul Territory? Those guys do a lot of A's coverage, and it's because the clicks are there. Like A's
Oh
Twitter
yeah.
is increasing the views and the clicks and the subscriptions of a lot of these sports personalities out there. So when they're looking at what episodes and what segments get the most views of their shit, they're like, dude, when we talk about the A's, views and engagement is skyrocketing. We need to keep
Yeah.
talking about that. We need to keep blowing this up. Like David Sampson, that former Marlins GM or whatever he was, Marlins
Mm-hmm.
exec, he's got his own podcast and he's fully into this, like following the A's, whatnot. It's
they
yeah,
got me because I subscribe to The Athletic. I don't like paying for news sources like that or paying for a subscription service to read articles. I'm not a big
paying for
I get it.
news.
You should be compensated for
You
for your work.
asshole.
But I've never been a person that, because I never I'm not an ESPN Plus guy or anything like that. But I subscribe to The Athletic because it's actually like legit, and they report on actual news. Because like I also have, I have MLB.TV and the MLB app, but it's owned by MLB, and they're not going to post any story that puts them in a bad light. The Athletic, they don't give a shit. They'll write anything that needs to be talked about.
Right.
And so huge supporter of that.
Yeah, I like the they're not biased, and
Mm-hmm.
you get good people like that. You definitely want to follow their stories and shit.
Oh yeah. I was going to bring up something. Oh, I saw a story like 2 hours ago. It was out of like the Las Vegas Review Journal or Journal Review or something like that. Bally's, who owns the Tropicana site, who's supposed to do the shared location with the stadium, said they're in no urgency to put together a resort on that site and share with the A's. They're in no urgency to get that done.
So, not a retractable roof, no resort. What part of this Vegas stadium plan is actually real? Because that's like 2/3 of it now that isn't real.
And another thing, Fisher hired an outside group to find investors to sell a $500 million stake in the team to build the other part of the stadium. What? Why couldn't he do that when he was in Oakland?
Thought he was. A bastard who's going to privately pay for it all. They always said they were, but they asked for a handout in Oakland, they asked for a handout in Vegas, and now he's got to split his side of the deal. I think is it $1 billion? So he's going to put up $500 million. The other $500 million will be made up by however many owners jump into this.
Yeah.
So he is, in a way, going to sell the team, but he could have done that in Oakland, and they would still be here, and we would have a new stadium. Like,
there was already a standing offer to buy the entire team.
Just fuck off, Fisher. Fish fuck.
It's fucking fish fuck.
But it's not surprising. This is like the way it is going to have to get done. He's not going to pay for it.
Vegas is going to fall through. It's going to fall through. They don't have a finance plan. There's nothing. They might as well not even commit to that location anymore. I'm done. I don't have hope anymore. But I'm like, why can't you just sell to somebody in the Bay Area now? Like, you could just say, you know what, my bad, we're not going to move. I'm actually going to sell the team to Joe Lacob now, and he's going to build. So we're sorry.
Crazy how he doesn't want to walk that back. He's like, I'm already the villain this much, so I can't go back.
I'm just going to write it out.
I have to fully fuck over Oakland completely, and no matter what, I have to get this out of there.
If he would just save so much face, and like we would all instantly we wouldn't hate him anymore. I wouldn't say we'd love him. We just wouldn't hate him anymore. If he just like makes a statement, goes, you know what, guys, my bad. I'm going to sell the team. They're going to stay in the Bay Area. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
I wouldn't hate him.
Yeah.
Like I'm not happy with everything that he put us through over the last 20 plus years.
Yes.
But like,
yeah.
But I saw I'm not gonna love John
It's like,
Fisher, but I'm like, thanks, dude,
all right,
appreciate that. About
yeah,
fucking time.
finally did the right thing, man. Jesus. But
Better
no,
late than never. Better late than
I
never.
would
But
be
no,
shocked if that happened.
I would be shocked. Part of me thinks he's
But
just going to completely sell the entire team now.
and they would be in
But I think
Vegas
there's a
to
lot of
some big
fees
shot.
for him to sell now. There's
He has
some
to still own it
stipulations.
after the move for like something,
Yeah,
or 5 or 10
right.
years. I forget what it is.
Yeah, because I think there's massive fees if he sells as soon as they move or in the moving process.
Fees. There is
God,
something
look
like
at
that,
us just.
but I still think they end up in Vegas. I mean,
I
yes,
do
it could
oh,
definitely fall through, and there's so much shit that still needs to be done. But there's got to be someone out there who wants to own this team that he's going to be willing to at least give half of the team to, and they're looking into it now.
mhm.
So when that person or persons come aboard here, I think the process moves along a little quicker because now you got new money involved,
Yeah.
and we'll see.
It's a damn shame the A's are putting us through all this because they're a fun fucking team right now. They are
Yeah,
exciting. This pitching staff, this bullpen, we have the best closer in baseball out of nowhere in Mason Miller.
best
Over the
setup
last
guy in
week or so,
baseball.
they split 4 games in New York. They took 2 out of 3 in Baltimore, and they just swept the Pirates in Oakland.
Nuts.
They already have 15 wins this year. They didn't get their 15th win last year until June 9th.
They are supposed to lose 100 games, and the last time they were supposed to lose 100 games and they were doing this well, they ended up winning the American League West. That was a very happy time. This
Let's not get
time,
ahead of ourselves. They're not.
they still have a losing record.
They're fun. Yeah, they're fun and exciting. They're still not going to make the playoffs.
I mean, they're a Mason Miller injury away from kind of.
They had them closing today on back-to-back days with a 4-0 lead. They're going to blow out his arm by July.
It would be hilarious, and I can say this because I've kind of taken a step back in my A's fandom, as you know. It would be hilarious if they trade Mason Miller this year.
No, they can't. They can't.
It would be pathetic, but it would be fucking hilarious because there are A's fans out there who are still buying into this team, who still think that Vegas is going to fall through and they're going to stay in Oakland, and they're following this team every game and rooting for them. I'm rooting for some of the players, but I just can't root for them like that anymore. It sucks. It really does. I wish I could really root for them. But I kind of look like a jackass too. At the start of the year, I was like, if you bet against the A's every single game, you're going to win money. And I think Barstool had a thing going too. I think PFT commentator.
PMT. Yeah, PFT and Big Cat were doing it.
And I was like, yeah. So I told a buddy to really think about it. I was like, this team's going to lose 100 games. Their guys are going to get hurt. They're not going to acquire people. They're going to suck. Look at the schedule. And so I was like, dude, you should seriously look into betting against them every game, money line. And they started off however they did. But when they took, was it a split or was it 2 of 3 in Texas? That was a little alarming.
Yeah, they took 2 of 3 in Texas.
Because when they lose, you get $100. But when they win, the money line is usually like minus 200. So you're losing at least $200 every time the A's win. So you have to win 3 games every time they lose to make money. And right now they're almost 500. So they're definitely.
God, you're down bad.
you're down if you're betting against them every game. So I am a jackass. Right now.
Is that a confession?
1 month into the season. That's the first confession of the night. Yeah. But I do want to give them their flowers. Mason Miller, stud.
Mm-hmm.
We are
Lucas Urseg, stud.
stud. Danny Jimenez, always been a stud ever since I parallel fived
Always
him in
been
MLB The Show.
I'm glad to see his shoulders finally healed and he's dealing again. We've always been Danny Jimenez guys.
Little scary because almost all of these A's pitchers have had arm problems already.
Mm-hmm.
So this whole thing can go to shit quick, but
Yes. You said
they're
it. They were
fun.
one Mason Miller injury away from back on track to losing 100 games.
Because the lineup is still kind of ass, right?
It's hella ass. They're getting the Nevin kid, Tyler Nevin or something Nevin. He's
Yeah.
he's swinging a hot bat right now, but like they said, he has one of the worst exit velos ever. So like that luck is not going to carry. JJ Bleday is hit and miss.
Yeah. Nevin kind of reminds
Nobody
me of
else is
Rooker
good.
last year.
Yeah,
No one else is good. Like
Rooker's doing all right.
Did Hernandez go back down to AAA? Because he's been ass.
He went back to he was sent down, but they called him up because there's an injury and he's been swinging a hot bat since being called back up.
To Noda. And then Ruiz was hot as soon as he came up, but he's not even playing every day. It's just so weird.
Yeah.
It's a weird ass
it's weird
team, man.
like
Jacob Wilson
I would be so invested if this team wasn't leaving, we were just stuck in the Coliseum. I'd be so invested in this fucking team, but I'm just not.
Yeah. It's the same process that we are used to.
Yeah.
Sell off everybody.
Yeah. About 2 years from now, they'll be fighting for a playoff spot, which you brought it up a few weeks ago when we were talking about them playing in Sacramento. This team has potential to be a playoff team in 2-3 years. Are you going to host a playoff game in a AAA stadium? You can't do that.
Jesus. And you're going to have protesters.
They'll probably go play in Oracle. Because they won't come back to the Coliseum. They'd play their playoffs at Oracle.
Oh, my God. Really? You think the Giants would allow that? They'd make money, but...
Yeah. I think so. Because they can't go back to Oakland, and they can't play at They can't play at a AAA park for a playoff series. You can't do that. You can't. You just can't.
Anywhere else? I don't think there's anywhere else.
Probably just do a neutral site game at the Texas ballpark.
Yeah, like the pandemic playoffs.
The pandemic playoffs. They're going to just play at the ballpark in Arlington.
Well, what else happened in A's land? That kind of was the A's stuff I wanted to get off my chest.
Yeah.
That pretty much covers it.
Do you want to just knock out guess at A's player now, and then we just don't have to talk about the A's anymore?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, then we can just say "fuck you, A's." We'll just be done.
Get him out of here.
Your initial, you know what? You can take your first guess. Guess that A's player, Rick.
Ryan Sweeney.
Good guess. I like it. I decided to choose. I looked at the list of Oakland A's All-Stars, and so I chose an All-Star.
Okay. Let me think of who made an All-Star team that shouldn't have made an All-Star team. John Jaso. I don't think he made an All-Star team, but I think we had a catcher one year who got in.
It is a position player. It is not John Jaso.
Good.
This player played in Oakland in 2016 and part of 2017, for the majority of 2017 when he had his All-Star appearance.
Oh, wow. Starling Marte.
No, Starling Marte was 2021. This is 2016 and 2017. Let's see.
Oh. Was that his only stint with the A's?
2016 and 2017 was his only stint with the A's.
Oh.
He played for
Hmm.
10 years, and he played for 6 teams in those 10 years.
Wow.
Cincinnati, Colorado, the White Sox, Cleveland, the Mariners, and the Padres, and Oakland. That is not in order of his career. I didn't want to make it too easy for you.
Why was he an all-star in 2017? So he was an all-star because we were shit. He was probably our only rep. 2017.
He was our only rep that year.
Yeah.
And he was traded, I believe, just a little bit after.
I feel like we never heard from this guy again.
No.
Oh my god. This is a good one.
Uh-huh.
This is a good one. I feel like it has to be a catcher or like a corner outfielder. There's no one you just
It is a
you just
first
look
baseman.
you look at the all-star roster and you're just like, oh, when you see that name from that team, you know that that's their lone representative. That guy charity vote.
So
Is it
in December. Oh, go ahead.
is it Yonder Alonso?
It's Yonder Alonso.
Oh, out of my
What a
ass.
What a pull that was. Yeah, my next hit was going to be in December of 2015. The San Diego Padres traded this person, ended up Yonder Alonso and Mark Rosinski to the A's for Drew Pomeranz, Jorge Torres, and Jabari Blash.
Well, we got Pomeranz, and he
And
was
then-
actually really good for us right when we got him.
Yeah. No. We gave up Pomeranz in the deal.
Oh, was this to get Yonder, or
This was to get Yonder.
Pomeranz?
This was good to get. This was how we got Yonder. Was trading away Drew Pomeranz to the Padres. So I remember this because in 2016, our first baseman, Yonder Alonso, only hit 7 home runs in 156 games played. And I remember that watching the MLB Network does like the 30 for 30 for spring training, and they're talking about how Yonder Alonso like fixed his swing and he's going to actually have more pop. And I remember at a spring training game, I made a bet with my dad that I'm like, I guarantee, like, this person, he only hit 7 home runs and played all these games. I guarantee you he's going to hit 20 or more home runs this year. And we always just do like a beer bet or a dinner bet. And and that year in 2017, Yonder hit 28 home runs, or 20. He hit 28 that year, 22 with the A's before being traded in August
Where did he get traded to? The White Sox?
to Seattle Mariners for Boog Powell.
Jesus. And that didn't work out for either side.
No, it
But
did
that's
not.
all we got for an all-star first baseman who was on pace to hit 20-plus yackers? Like, really?
Boog Powell.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Well, that's not fun. But shout out Yonder. I like him on MLB Network.
Yeah, it is.
So
a
we
great job
actually
on
did hear
MLB
from
Network.
him again. So,
Yes.
okay.
All right, yeah.
Glad
So
that I
that's
got
our
that. I didn't think I was going to get that.
that's our A's talk. Other baseball news to really touch on, it's Mike Trout. Just damn it,
Mike
dude.
Trout injury season again.
Torn meniscus. Insane, dude.
It's earlier and earlier every year that he's hurt. It's usually when
we
the
talked
Angels
about
start
it.
to get out of it.
And we talked about it, like just a week or two ago. We're like, if he's healthy, you just have to name him your MVP. How dare we not choose him to be our MVPs? We said this. How dare we not choose him? And 2 weeks later, torn meniscus.
The way
It is insane.
the pendulum swings.
It is just crazy. Now, like, Mike Trout is just this huge what if. He was on pace to be literally the greatest baseball player of all time.
he is chartering in Ken Griffey Jr. territory now.
Oh, exactly.
Like,
Because Griffey was one of the biggest what ifs, and Griffey still hit 600 home runs.
yeah, yeah, and like this is not looking good. Like we're used to this happening every year now, and
Yeah.
that's what it was with Griffey. I don't know how many years it was where it was like he's gonna be healthy next year though. He's gonna be healthy next year though. No, actually he's just gonna get hurt every single year. That's actually how this is gonna
Yeah.
happen. And that is
And now,
how it
like,
feels with
yep,
Trout.
it's exactly how it feels. Even the beginning of this year, I'm like, he's finally going to be healthy all year. He's going to do it. He's going to put in another MVP season. And like, this is the final nail. Like, you cannot say that anymore. Mike Trout will never have another full season. And if
Back in
he
the
does,
day,
it
the
won't be.
Yankees used to be able to rescue a player like this just because they could take on the payroll. But
Yeah.
nowadays, and it was actually Fernando Tatis was an interesting one I was listening to on MLB Network the other day.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
kind of a
Yeah.
similar
Brian Kenny was
situation. It's
talking
like,
about it.
yeah, it's like how nowadays, what kind of team is going to rescue, in quotations, a player like this who has 30 mil, 35 mil a year dedicated to them or like into their mid 30s, and nobody does that anymore. I mean, there are monster contracts like Shohei Ohtani, but
Yeah.
I mean, you don't really
I,
trade for a player that has that contract already attached to them.
I think you can move the Tatis contract, even if though like the money's going to be around 36 million in his mid 30s. Because I'm going to make this comparison to like Derek Carr contract with the Raiders when he signed the 5-year 125 million. We're like, this is insane. I can't believe we just paid this quarterback $25 million a year. Within 2 seasons into the deal, 25
Yeah,
million was cheap for a quarterback.
I think Jimmy
Um,
Garoppolo may have topped it like the very next off season,
very
or
yeah, the very next season, Jimmy Garoppolo was getting paid more than
and
Derek
then
Carr, and so
every off season after that, there was a new quarterback that
36
topped it.
million for Tatis in his early to mid 30s doesn't sound terrible. Maybe he's only 25 now, so 10 years from now, who knows how big those contracts are going to be. So maybe only 35 million a year is not doesn't sound that bad. Mike
I'm
Trout though,
gonna,
no, you can't do it.
yeah, gonna disagree,
Okay.
but I think it's funny that the team that would be most likely to take that on is the team that Tatis is already on.
dude, that Xander Bogaerts contract is slowly becoming the worst contract in baseball history. It already was bad when he made the deal, and it's looking a whole hell of a lot worse now.
Dude, what
He,
is it with these guys going to? Maybe it's just San Diego. Like, there's just too many other things to
dude,
worry about down there, and they don't want to play
I
baseball.
guess,
Like,
man.
Xander was a stud in Boston.
Mm-hmm. He's his second year into the deal. They've moved him from his the premier position of shortstop to second base. He's hitting. I think he's hovering around right above the Mendoza line, barely hitting 200, three home
Oof,
runs. Ooh.
man, no one hits for average anymore.
And they still have 10 years on this deal, 9 years on this deal.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
they
paying him
could
till he's like
not
42.
extend Soto. There was no way. You couldn't extend Soto when you got Tatis and Xander on those deals.
Yeah. Oh, and Manny too. Manny's making,
Yeah.
and they re-signed him. They restructured his deal to give him more money. Oof.
And here we
Oof.
are bashing John Fisher when he's the smartest owner out there, not giving anyone a dime.
All right.
Padres are
All right.
stupid for giving money out.
All right. All right.
It is interesting though to look at Tatis's numbers pre steroid suspension and post steroid suspension.
Yeah, I know. I really, God damn it.
But
I really like Tatis. I
let's
really hope
we'll give it a little
he
bit
turns
more
it
time, a
around.
little bit
Yeah.
more of a sample size
He,
on the
he
post
was such
side
a
of things.
phenom coming up. Hopefully he could, and he's still, again, he's only 25.
Only 25, man. Had a little bit of injury problems, and yeah, the roid thing. So we'll see. We're rooting for him. We love watching Fernando Tatis.
Yes.
Yes. But Trout.
So
Good thing we didn't pick him to win the MVP.
well, he is on my fantasy baseball team, and it's been a nightmare situation for me there.
Did you take him in the second round?
Second round.
Damn. Speaking of Fernando Tatis and Mike Trout, those are your first 2-round picks.
Yeah.
It's okay. I took Ole 4th overall, and he's had a slow start. You got to think he's going to turn it around. He'll
still get you 40 bombs. Yeah, it's Ole. He'll get his.
Yeah, it's an uncharacteristic slow start for him.
Speaking of a lot of players that we've already used for the Yackers segment, I think this is a perfect opportunity to jump right into that. We did record an episode last week. Let's just Yackers. So we did record an episode last week, and as we stated earlier, technical difficulties happened, but we still made picks for Yackers. My pick was Juan Soto, and yours was Adolis Garcia, and they just so happened to both hit Yackers.
Yackers.
So for those at home keeping tabs, I am still winning 4-3 in the Yackers.
Yackers. Yes, that is correct. 4-3, Paul.
So I believe I get to go first?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, we both got it right, so I think it just stays with you. You're in the lead.
All right. Yeah, I'll go first.
I feel like our rules have changed every single week on that. It's all made up and the points don't matter. It's like, whose line is it anyway?
Thanks, Drew Carey. So my pick for Yackers is one of the hottest players in baseball right now. And
so
also
hot right
another young phenom, if I may say. Playing the premier position of shortstop for the Cincinnati Reds, give me the sensation of Elly De La Cruz.
That is sensational. That is the perfect way to describe Elly De La Cruz.
One of the more exciting ball players. If you get to sit and watch Elly De La Cruz, he's stealing bases, he's hitting bombs, he's having just a hell of a start to the year.
He's throwing the ball 106 miles per hour across the diamond, where his first baseman can't even.
I saw the video. He did the Jake Hewitt double crow hop and then fires this ball 106. You didn't have to do that if you just threw it on the first crow hop. So cool. Mm-hmm. He just threw the fastest ball ever. The guy was safe. So who cares? Mm-hmm. I'm going to be such an old head saying that. I don't care.
Make the out.
Just make the out.
Why are you double crow hopping into the infield grass when you have that arm? Just fucking throw it.
Right. You lollygagged, and yeah, you didn't make the out. So why are we celebrating him throwing 106 mile per hour error?
Matt Chapman kind of does that sometimes from third, but he does it not in an aggressive way. He takes his time because he knows he could still get it there, and he does it with incredible accuracy. But I've noticed that with Chappie, like he'll gather himself almost a little too much. I'm like, throw it,
throw it.
but he's under control. He's cool, calm. He's not trying to take fucking 4 steps towards first and then throw it 106 miles per hour. Like,
yeah.
But yes, I like the pick. I digress. I guess I won't have to use my backup. So I'm going to go. I don't think this guy's been picked yet. I am also going with shortstop, and I'm going to stay with the Texas Rangers. I'm going to go with my MVP pick and take Corey Seager. Thank you.
Thank you. That's a great pick. I like that pick a lot. Big Rangers guy, I see. Didn't you already choose Semien as well this year?
Yeah, I think I did. Yeah. Well, I'm 2 for 2 with the Rangers, so might as well stick with them.
Yeah.
We're gonna go Jonah Heim next.
I've already had 3 players off of my fantasy team hit a yacker for me, or at least 2. And
I
I was
like
just going
that.
to keep on picking players off my fantasy
Mm-hmm.
team just because it's brought me good luck. But I'm looking at my team now, and it's such dog shit that there's so many better players I could choose from. I was
Yeah, I
like,
like
oh
the
yeah, I'll
double
just choose
dip.
Mark Canna.
That's like a triple dip because he's on your fantasy team. He gets you the yackers, but we're also just huge Mark Canna guys. So
Exactly.
it's, you know, it checks all the boxes, but then when he doesn't hit one, it ruins all 3 of those boxes.
Exactly.
Or it ruins 2 of them.
So no,
But
no, no, no. I'll take Ellie De La Cruz, please.
yeah, I really wanted to go with someone who is on my fantasy team and someone I'm a big fan of. But yeah, I steered back into doing the right thing here and going with the best available in my eyes, which is Corey Seager. And speaking of the best available, I got to give a shout to our Oakland Raiders who took a
Oakland Raiders.
who took the best available at their pick in this past week's NFL draft. Browers, tight end, Georgia.
Would you
Kid of
consider him best
Napa.
available over Dallas Turner?
That's debatable.
Okay. But you know what? They didn't reach. They definitely didn't
Yeah.
reach.
Didn't reach, didn't do something stupid. We really, I think now, no matter, it's kind of like the Goodell coming up to the podium to start the draft thing. No matter what, he's going to get booed. Like, he even brought out like Barry Sanders, Calvin Johnson, and Eminem this year, and he still got booed. So he's just going to get booed no matter what. And that was in Detroit.
Right. Yeah.
So no matter who the Raiders pick, people are going to go straight to Twitter and be like, oh my God, who is that guy? What a stupid pick. Just like, shut up. It was a good pick.
Stop it.
Yeah, if they would have
Just
took the
stop
corner, you guys would have been just ripping us, you know?
Yeah.
If we would have took the third best O lineman or whatever, you would have been killing us. If we would have took that, I mean, the Bama guy, it is debatable whether he was the best available or not. I didn't, or I felt a little bit better when he finally got picked. They were making a point that he was kind of the knock on him is he's a one move guy. He's got to learn a couple different moves, and just being on the Bama defense made him look a little bit better. And he's got work to do. He's sort of like a project, and that is not the word that we as Raider fans want to hear when we make our first round pick.
Don't want a project first rounder. I want somebody that can contribute. Don't get cute with it. Just don't get cute with it. A project is third round and later. Your first pick needs to be a ball player.
All we ask is don't get cute with it. And you know who kind of got cute with it? The San Francisco 49ers taking Ricky Pearsall in the first round at wide receiver. Ricky was at ASU before he transferred to, I believe, Florida.
Oh, shit.
He was part of the mass transfer exodus from when we got caught up with the recruiting violations and whatnot under Herm Edwards. But yeah, what a team. What a fucking team we had at ASU. Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
Brandon Ayuk, Ricky Pearsall. That's just to name a few. But there was I think we had Tay Trainum. What's his name over in Tampa Bay? The starting running back for the Bucks right now. Name is he was on my fantasy team this year. Rashad White.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had quite a team down there in Tempe, but I don't know. I don't know how I feel about Ricky Pearsall being a first rounder. We will see. Maybe he'll be the next Wes Welker.
When other wide receivers were still available too.
Yeah. But yeah, you don't want to get cute with it. Speaking of getting cute with it, Nike.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
They got so cute with jerseys this year, and we talked about it on one of the past episodes. I think it was really early on. I think I had a good rant. But the news this week was that they're going to fix them. They're going to address 3 major things that the players were displeasured with. The sweat
Mm-hmm.
stains, the mismatching grays, and I think the small
And
numbers.
the tiny letters and numbers,
Tiny letters, yes.
which was absolutely the worst part of it. Yeah, the sweat stains didn't look good,
Yeah.
and them not matching didn't look good. But those tiny numbers look so bad. They look like high school jerseys. It was just embarrassing.
It looked when when you can tell that someone has a knockoff jersey. The font
Yeah.
is different. It's smaller. It's not like on a nameplate. It's just not the official
Yeah.
thing. You can tell that that's a fake jersey, and you laugh at that person.
Mm-hmm.
You point at them, and you talk shit about them. You bought that off an Instagram ad. You thought you were saving money. It's a fake jersey.
Fake, big phony.
Phony. So they're gonna work on fixing this, but the guarantee is by the start of next year. So
Yeah.
all right. So we're just gonna.
They already don't
keep
have the
shitty
jerseys
ones.
that they already don't have the shitty ones ready for this year. Like all the City Connects weren't ready at the beginning of the year for teams, so like they couldn't even rock them on the first Friday night game. Like
It's
what are we
funny that
doing, dude?
now. So the news article pretty much stated that it was Nike's fault, and this whole time everyone's slamming
Well,
Fanatics, which I think
Well,
they
the
still.
MLBPA, the Players Association came out and blamed it all on Nike because they make huge contributions to Fanatics, or vice versa. I don't know who gets the money, either Fanatics or the MLBPA. They have a huge deal with Fanatics, and so they're like, we just got to push this onto Nike. I still blame Fanatics.
I still do too. I don't think they're innocent in all this.
They're not out of the
but
woods.
because
Yeah.
I have bought shirts on there before, and when I get them, man, they're like small and cheap and one wash, and I can't even wear it anymore. It's fucking shrunk, and the iron on or whatever it is, it's just like kind of janky. So yeah, Fanatics isn't innocent in all this, but Nike too, though. Over the last 5-10 years, Nike quality has went to shit. It is so cheap. They're just trying to save money everywhere they can. NFL jerseys are fucking terrible now. Like it used to be always stitched. You get authentic or even the mid tier, which in basketball was called the swingman jersey. I don't know what football called it, but you don't have to get like the fully authentic one with the stretchy
with the sleeve cuffs. Yeah.
Yeah, the sleeve cuffs. You can get like the middle tier. So you still got like the Blitnikoff sleeves, but you got stitched numbers and
stitched
and
numbies
nameplate.
and stitched letters. Yep.
You gotta have stitched. You just gotta. And
You have to.
when I saw the new jersey this year, someone bought a Christian McCaffrey jersey. I may have told this story before, but that shit came out screen printed, and he paid like authentic price for it.
Oh.
I'm like, that is bad. Nike is just taking advantage. So I'm glad they're getting called out on this shit.
Yeah.
Fix it.
Yeah. Fix it.
Fix it
Oh
now.
shit.
Well, we got a fun segment this week.
Yes, we do. I saw a tweet the other day. I wish I would have saved the name. I forget who tweeted it, but he created the best team he could with baseball players, starting with his first initial. I think his first initial was an M, and so he had like Miguel Tejada and some other people like Mickey Mantle and stuff. And so the team I built, starting with the letter P's and you would start letter R, I really only did starting pitcher, every fielding position, and I gave myself a DH. I don't know what you did.
Also did the same. The only thing I did different was I gave myself a closer.
Damn it.
So I can go first if you want to think about your closer during the.
Yes, if you could do that, I'd appreciate it. You know what? Fuck it, I got mine.
Okay. Yeah, it doesn't have to be.
It's basically a relief
perfect.
pitcher, but he closed a couple games.
I will say these teams are not perfect. There is one, or at least I don't know what your team is yet. But I'm interested to hear, when I announce, let's say, my catcher, and
Mm-hmm.
If a name pops into your head that I didn't think of, I'm interested, and vice versa.
Okay. Yeah, for sure.
Another thing I wanted to ask is, let's say outfield, for instance. There may be a
Mm-hmm.
guy who plays left and right, or
Mm-hmm.
if he played the majority of games in left, or if you go on his baseball reference page, it might say left fielder, even though
Yeah.
he could play other places. So I kind of stuck to whatever their primary known position is of their career.
For the most
For the
part, I
most
did
part.
that.
Yeah.
Like center field was the most important thing because, like, a corner outfielder is a corner outfielder. I didn't want to put a corner outfielder as my center fielder.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted somebody that played more traditional
No,
center field. Corner, I'm a little bit more lenient
totally.
with.
Yeah. And I kind of saved my lineup at the very end, like as I was putting this together, 30 minutes ago, or an hour ago. I had like one or two names that popped into my head at the last second. I was like, oh my God, that saves everything because I don't have to move people into positions in the outfield that I didn't want to. That would have, So I played it straight up pretty much. And there's definitely going to be better players available that I just didn't think of. So maybe
Yeah.
you'll think of them.
Yeah. You know what? If you want to start us off, give us your team, Rick.
Let's go. Let's do it. At catcher, Oakland A's legend Ron Hernandez.
Ooh. I like
Good with
that.
pitchers, timely hits. He could even lay down a bunt to win you a playoff game.
As I was just about to say, he has Bill King is one of my favorite calls on the Ramon Hernandez suicide squeeze.
It's an
The
insanely
element
good
of
call.
surprise reigns supreme.
Oh, that is just the good stuff right there.
Yeah.
From Bill King. I love it.
Inject that shit in my veins.
Mm-hmm. So there's probably a lot better catchers out there than Ramon Hernandez, but that was the first one that popped into my head, and I sat on it for a little while, and I couldn't think of another one. So the R names, here we go.
Yeah.
Thank God I thought of this one because I almost went with Rowdy Tellez at first base because I was having trouble.
God.
I was having trouble with first base. Reese at first base.
Who?
Rhys Hoskins.
Oh, you could have went with a little Richie Sexton action.
I did give myself a DH, Paul.
Oh, sorry.
So we'll just say now, Richie Sexton is my DH.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. At second base, he may have only played like 1 year with the A's, but I remember as a kid, I had a lot of fun watching this guy and playing with him in video games. Give me Ray Durham.
I like it. I like that a lot.
And I think he had like a really emphasized knob on his bat. Like I think he either wrapped it or he put one of those like bumpers on it. you just always saw it, hanging below his hands there, and he was a fun at bat to watch.
I like Ray Durham. One I thought you might have went with was Ricky Weeks. But I think Ray Durham was a much better ball player than Ricky. Definitely a longer. So I like the Ray Durham pick over Ricky Weeks there.
And I thought you were just going to say right now Randy Velarde, who was our second baseman, I think when we won the 2000 pennant. Oh, so not pennant, but the AL West pennant. Yeah, he is. Yeah, whatever. But when we got Durham, our team was so exciting to watch. Really enjoyed watching Ray Durham. I struggled a little bit at shortstop. But this guy ain't no
who's
slouch.
Your third baseman? Who's your third baseman?
Yeah, we can do third. My third baseman is Rafi Devers. Rafi Devers of the Boston Red Sox.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Very nice.
A lot of Raphaels out there, but I will say he is going to be the only Raphael on this team.
A certain Palmeiro did not make the squad. I respect it. it.
Yeah. So there's only room for one Rafi, and he's going to be at the hot corner. And then to take it back to the number 6 position at shortstop, this guy may have won some Silver Sluggers along the way. I don't know if he ever won a Gold Glove, but I couldn't think of another shortstop, so I went with Rich Aurelia.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, he was always part of those Giants teams that when they had Barry and Kent, uh, they were contending, and they kind of were the resurgence of the Giants when the Giants stunk for a long time. Uh, so now let's get into the outfield. Left field, this is the obvious pick. It is pretty much
Oh
my
yeah.
name, so it's
Oh
a
yeah.
shoe-in. Give me Ricky Henderson out in left field.
I would have been shocked. I would have been shocked if Ricky Henderson did not make an appearance on this list.
I looked into moving Ricky because I had a couple other fun names for field.
Mm-hmm.
It was the position that I probably had the most people for, but I couldn't
Mm-hmm.
really move Ricky. I even looked into years where he may have played elsewhere. He actually played primarily in center field in 1985 and 1986 with the Yankees.
Mm-hmm.
So I could have used 1985 Ricky Henderson in center field, but I didn't do that. Actually, the most runs ever in his career that season with 146 runs scored. So center fielder Ricky Henderson in 85 was pretty badass. But he's a left fielder. You ever talk about Ricky Henderson?
Mm-hmm.
He's a left fielder. He never played a game in the infield, and I don't think he ever played a game in right field.
That's
I was
wild.
looking at his reference
That's
page.
wild. That dude played for almost 30 years in
never
in
played
the show,
first?
and he
like
right.
Never right.
You trying to tell me Ricky don't play short? Ricky don't play short.
Even play right. The other two names were Randy Arozarena. Love Randy Arozarena. He would have been fun and left.
Randy.
And then this one, this one would have been a sleeper pick. I've always been a fan of this guy, especially from MVP baseball. Ron Gant in left field would have been fun.
Wow. The fact that you thought of all these names without looking people up is very impressive.
Ron Gant came to mind, dude. He had over 300 career homers, over 1,000 career RBIs,
Really?
and he was
a
two-time All-Star, and he finished top 6 in MVP voting twice.
Wow.
He had a really long career. He played till he was 38, and he was an Oakland A. All right, let's get back to the list, though. Center field, it's not going to be Ricky because we've got the laser, Ramon Laureano, out in center. He's not going to hit for average, but we got a hell of a glove and an arm out there. And this last name I added to my roster, and it saved my team. In right field, give me Mr. 61 himself, Roger Maris.
Wow. What a pool. Holy shit.
Yeah, that saved the team right there, because I was really stuck on right. I mentioned
I have a
Ricky
feeling
Sexton.
who your starting pitcher is going to be.
Do you? Yeah, this guy is he's kind of GOAT status.
Yeah, I think I know who
but
you're.
Not the Rocket, Roger Clemens. It is not.
No, that's not who I was thinking.
No, I'm going with Roy Halladay.
Oh, that is not who I was thinking. Wow, that's a great pick. I thought you were going with Randy Johnson.
Oh, damn. I did. Dude, I thought of the name so much because of Arozarena, and Randy Johnson didn't come up. Damn.
That's why when I said Randy, I was like, oh, he has to be saving that hit the Randy for Randy Johnson.
You got me there. But
Doc
that's
Holliday,
the one that I didn't think of. But
Doc Holliday is one of the greatest pitchers of all time.
He is. He is sneak. I don't think he still gets the credit he deserves. Didn't he throw a no-hitter in the playoffs?
He threw
Or
the same year. He threw a perfect game. He threw a perfect game in the regular season, and then a no hitter in the fucking postseason.
he's sneaky like GOAT status. Like he's up there. He was so fucking
Mm-hmm.
nasty. I think it's because he was in Toronto for so long that he
Toronto, yeah,
with us as much. But yeah, you can't deny Doc Holliday. He's filthy.
I like it.
Randy would have been excellent. So I missed even thinking about Randy, but I was juiced that I thought of Roy, and he was already in there
Mm-hmm.
really early on in this, so I never even thought about pitchers again. Uh, my last pick and my closer is going to be a guy with over 300 saves. He had
Oh, I know who it is.
three years with an ERA under 2. Give me Rob Nen,
Rob Nen. I
who
like it.
I disliked as a kid growing up, being an Ace fan. Rob Nen being a Giants closer. Wasn't a fan of him,
Did not like
but
him either.
big fan of him in MLB The Show on Diamond Dynasty. And when you go back and look at his numbies, they speak for themselves. So yeah,
He's got the
give me
numbies.
Rob.
All right, I like this team a lot.
Yeah.
I took a little bit different route to build my team. I spent about 5 minutes trying to think of names that start with the letter P. I then proceeded to go. I couldn't come up with a lot of names. I just had like a block. I couldn't think of names that started with P. So I instantly just go to. I started like Googling stuff. I typed in baseball players with P first names and nothing. Baseball Reference had last names with P's. I'm like, I don't like that. I can't. And so then I just go to Baseball Reference and go to the leaders in WAR, wins above replacement, and I scroll through about 2,000 to 3,000 names, just stopping every time I saw a P. And so I started from the top of the WAR leaders and worked my way down. Ooh, another P. Ooh, a piece of P.
So what you're saying is there's not a lot of great baseball players with the name P.
I put together a pretty damn good team. So good, I actually don't even have the WAR leader on my team. The WAR leader that starts with the letter P is Phil Necro with 95.9 wins above replacement. Does
Wow, I
not
never would have thought
make
of the name
the team.
Phil.
So I skipped Phil Necro for the
Yeah, he's
Necro.
not
Sorry,
fun.
Necro. No,
Yeah,
it's not
there you
fun.
go. Don't Glenn Kuiper yourself here.
Don't Glenn.
See, Phil, you're not fun. Just go, Phil. You're ruining it.
Just go. So I went with my starting pitcher, probably also up there as one of the greatest pitchers of all time. Give me the his daddy is the Yankees, Pedro Martinez.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
One of the most dominant pitchers of all time, and definitely one of the most fun pitchers to watch. Love that pick.
On my team, I have 6 players named Paul.
Ah.
There really isn't a lot of P names.
I can think of 3 right off the bat. Yeah.
So catching for Pedro Martinez is the first Paul. Give me Paul Loduca.
Paul Loduca,
I got scared because I wasn't finding a catcher. He was a Pirate. He was a Dodger. He played. I was really scared I wasn't going to be able to find a catcher. Couldn't think of one.
When I thought Ramon Hernandez, I just stuck with it because I'm like, I'm not thinking of more catchers here. Let's move on. So yeah,
that's a tough one.
Loduca played a long time. He's going to work well there with Pedro.
Oh yeah, good.
He's a pitcher's
good
catcher.
Locker room guy too. He's a pitcher's catcher for sure. Playing first base, give another Paul. Give me Paul Goldschmidt.
Oh, yeah. Okay, Paul number 2.
Yeah. Did you have anybody else in mind at first base?
No, I think the guy that I'm thinking of is an outfielder. So
okay,
I'll hold that thought. I do not. I got no first baseman for you.
Not a fun name here. It's another
I do
Paul
have an
playing second
infielder.
base for me. I
Okay.
I have a second baseman playing Paul, and I literally wrote down a bench spot because I like this name, but I tried to put the best team out there. Um,
Yeah.
Playing second base is going to be Paul Molidor. Paul
Hmm.
Molidor.
I wasn't even sure
Not
what
fun.
his position was, but I definitely thought of him like within the first two names for peas.
Hmm. Baseball Reference had him as primary second baseman, so I'm slotting in Paul Molidor there. My
Nice. Yeah,
third
that's
baseman,
just an all time.
he I think he played majority of his career at shortstop, but when a certain somebody named Jackie Robinson came in, they
There it
shifted him
is.
over. So at third base, give me one of the funnest names, Pee Wee Reese. Pee Wee.
That was
Pee
the
Wee.
first P name that came to mind when I tried to think of P names was Pee
Mhm.
Wee Reese. And yep,
Yeah, it's so
put him on there.
fantastic.
That's a fun name.
So the reason why I don't have him playing shortstop is because this player only really played shortstop. Give me Yankee legend Phil Rizzuto playing shortstop.
Oh,
Phil Rizzuto. Yeah.
sneaky fills here.
Mm-hmm. Some sneaky fills in there.
Hmm.
We have we've had Pedro, Paul, Pee Wee, Phil. Now our left fielder. This one was kind of a gamble, if I may say.
I think at third I would have thought of Placido Polanco, but he might have been a second baseman.
Placido Placido Polanco is the person who I wrote down as my bench option. I was torn between Paul
Wow.
Molidor and Placido Polanco. Polanco actually had a
Oh,
pretty solid career. I was looking at his baseball reference page. He was
dude.
like a two-time All-Star. I think he had over 2,000 or close to 2,000 hits
And he was like
or over
always in
2,000
the
hits.
playoffs, it felt like, with the Phillies.
Hmm.
It felt like he
Yeah,
was
with
always
Phillies
playing in
and
big
he was
games and getting big hits.
with the Phillies and Detroit when Detroit was in those doing those playoff runs. So yeah, Placido Polanco
Yeah.
is actually my honorable mention bench option. Um, but the gambler in left field, give me Pete Rose.
Whoa. Yeah. You got to get Pete
he
out
they
there.
they
That's
mhm.
that's a hell of a team just
Baseball
having
Reference
him
listed
on
him
it.
as first base, third base, and outfielder. I'm like, screw it, I'm gonna throw him in left field. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, you got to have the all-time hit leader on your team if it starts with a P.
Yeah.
C- Center field, I was really struggling. I almost put Peter Borges. Exactly.
Uh-uh.
I was struggling finding true center fielders. I ended up finding this
Hmm.
one person had really good WAR. Is an 8-time Gold Glove winner in center field. A lot of time with the Orioles in like I think the 70s or 80s. His name is Paul Blair. Was an 8-time Gold Glove winner. Uh,
Huh.
I know. Yeah,
Well, if
I
he's an
know. I
eight-time
really
Gold Glove
struggled.
winner, I guess he
Hmm.
deserves it. But I never heard of him.
Yeah. Um,
Too
right
bad Juan
fielder.
Pierre didn't start with a P.
I thought of Juan Pierre too. I was like, man, I really wish I could use Juan Pierre here. Big
Just
Juan
feels
Pierre
like it
guy.
does. Feels like he belongs there
Hmm.
when you're
Yes.
building a fun
Uh,
team.
right field, starting right field is O'Neill Cruz was named after this person. Give me Paul O'Neill.
Yes. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And that was the Paul that came to mind for me. So that's
Mm-hmm.
you gotta have Paulie O'Neill out there. Just
That
all
is
those Yankee
5
moments.
Pauls. And so DH is the 6th Paul. Can you name that Paul?
Paul
Was a first
is a
baseman for
Cardinal?
a long time. No, he was a White Sox.
Paul Konerko.
Paul Konerko gets the DH spot. I was about to put Placido Polanco as the DH, but he just wasn't a true DH, so I gave that spot to Paul Konerko.
Paul Konerko, big Card Attendant Confessions favorite. We mentioned that milestone home run he hit with the legendary call by. Hell yes!
Fucking Hawk Harrelson makes another appearance.
Mm-hmm. It always goes back.
Well, that was
Did you do a closer?
that was a good. Oh yeah, I thought of it as you mentioned it. Wasn't a legit closer, more of just a specialist reliever.
Mm-hmm.
Give me Pat Neshek.
Ooh, Pat
Yeah,
Neshek.
little
When he
submarine side
was,
armor. When he
mm-hmm.
was with the A's, it was the only person I have on this list that actually spent time with the A's.
That would be a cool MLB The Show card. When he was on the
Mhm.
A's and we had that playoff run, and he
Yep.
was coming
Well,
back
it
from
was
there was like a
family
really bad thing
tragedy.
that happened. Yeah,
Yeah,
and he was
I think
like
one of his
just.
kids passed away.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
And it was a
Yeah, one of
huge
his kids passed
deal.
away. He had their initials on the hat, and he came and pitched like a day or two after it happened, and he just
And it's just
dealt.
sitting
And so
guys
yeah,
down,
like,
dude.
goosebumps thinking about it. Yeah.
Pat
Ah
Neshek,
man.
man. Give me an
Hmm.
MLB The Show
Like
card of that.
exactly. Like I bet I could think of another P closer or reliever, but I'm like, you know what? Pat Neshek instantly came to mind. So let me get little Patty in there.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. There's not a lot of P names coming up in my mind right now. Paul O'Neill definitely came up. Paul LaDuca definitely came up. Pee Wee Reese was the first one. But
Pat Burrell came up, but Pat Burrell really didn't have that great of a career for being like the number one overall pick.
yeah, he was. He was okay. I think with the
Yeah,
Phillies, maybe the Astros a little bit, and I think the Giants picked him up for. He might have actually won a ring with the Giants in
I think he
2010.
did. Yeah.
But well, when I was done making my lineup, I'm like, I kind of want to make this team into the Diamond Dynasty and play with it.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Hell yes! We should put together
Well, yeah,
those,
that's
if possible. We should put together those teams and play against each other on a friendly in the show. That'd be pretty fun.
yes, that would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That about covers it, I think, this week. I have no
Yeah,
idea.
you got any
what...
final
Oh, it's right here.
confessions?
Well, I was going to confess that I have no idea where Brick the cat is, but he's actually sleeping on my pile of T-shirts right here. So he's here in arm's reach. Lucy Braun, she's been sitting on my lap the entire episode, being a good girl, 15 years old.
Nice.
So
Lucy.
my 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 lap was a little warm. I was worried that she may have warmed it, but no confessions to confess here. So yeah, we're
That is good.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the major confession that deserves to happen is we just got bogged down last week. We had the technical difficulties. I was training for a marathon that I went out and crushed on Sunday and just have barely been able to walk ever since. And but now you get us back and better than ever on episode
Well, yeah, we are back.
SX.
SX.
We're up to 10.
We apologize. Yeah, we apologize for just not even fixing the episode, not re-recording. Like, you know what? Let's just chalk it up as a loss and fuck it. We're not going to edit. We told you guys from the get-go we're not going to edit. So if it's beyond us being able to just upload it, we're not going to put it out there. You guys are better than that. You guys don't deserve
Quit
that.
asking.
Yeah.
You don't deserve that. There you
don't
go.
deserve
That's
that
how we get more
mediocrity from
viewers.
us.
Yeah. Tell them all to buzz off. We don't want you listening. We need you.
No.
Essentially,
no,
that's what you just did.
No. I said they don't deserve that poor of a performance from us.
Ah, okay. I thought you were saying that they don't deserve.
You're the one that's
to
telling
hear
the fans
us.
to piss off. Oopsies. But yeah, those are our confessions. We'll be back next
As
week.
always, we tried our best we'll be back next week. We'll be 10 episodes deep. So yeah, we're coming back for more. Thanks for listening to Cartatenic Confessions.
These are
Botch.
confessions. Botch.
Piss.